10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello everyone. Oops, let me add a bit better layout. Here we go. Hi everyone. Welcome to 2023 first AMA on Mars surface we have. And yeah, I'd like to introduce the crowd. So you definitely know Nick. Yeah, I'll skip him. Yeah, and as we're talking today about MarsMasks, our upcoming avatars collection, so we brought two more people who add a lot of effort and yeah, creativity in making this campaign, in making this collection. So meet Spyros, yeah,
Hello.
our art director, and meet Omar, one of our designers.
Hello. Of our designers.
Yeah. Good. So I'm not sure. Yeah, how many of you seen this stuff? But basically, we have yeah, this landing page, MarsMasks, created where you can find all the important information about the upcoming collection. So it's a 999 avatar, 999 volume of avatars in this collection. And it will serve as a PFP. It will be the ticket for the free colonist mint. So first wave of colonists will be minted shortly after the MarsMasks, beginning of February. And with this, this serves you as a ticket. Basically, the only way to get you the legendary colonist NFT. And as well, yeah, to entertain the crowd, we have a raffle for MarsMasks owners yeah, in that raffle's values 15K of USD worth in NFTs. There will be Mars lands, and yeah, as well 3 legendary curriculums, GT included in this. Good. So yeah, I'm sharing the landing page as well, link in the chat, so the community can join as well. Nick, let's start a little bit about the collection. So we have everything we're building here has some sort of a relation with the game. So yeah, can you tell sort of the backstory a little bit of yeah, how this appeared?
So I guess we can start by the objectives and stuff of what we wanted to accomplish with this collection. What we wanted to do is bring a little bit more personality and character to the I guess the universe of Mars4. And for those of you who have been following the stories and the lore that we've been putting out, you'll already have a bit of an idea of the setup. But what we wanted to do with this collection is give a bit more character to the very first Martians who arrived on Mars. Most of these people were experienced colonists already, people who had already worked on the moon and in the final stages of the Artemis project, which has just launched recently in our timeline. So this kind of gave us a way to introduce some characters and stories that we want to explore and flesh out more. And we saw it as a good opportunity to also get a bit of a bit of a way for our community to be able to find personalized, unique representation of themselves as Martians. And that was kind of the founding idea. And then from there, we explored a lot of different ways to do this over the past like 6 months, because there is in all the strategies of how to create a thriving NFT like PFP collection, there is a lot of elements to take into consideration on how we integrate that into the game. So our very first plan of how we were going to go about this is that we would use these NFTs as the helmets themselves that would be in the game. So these NFTs would be the ones that you would just be placed on the character. But then you run into some technical issues when you're doing that. Does that mean that it would never be limited because we'd constantly be needing to produce new helmets? Otherwise, Martians literally wouldn't be able to breathe the atmosphere. And so you get into like these kinds of false starts in a sense to find what is the perfect structure and design of the collection. And that's what led us eventually through many iterations, some of which Spyros and Omar will be showing you later on in the talk, led us to this final MarsMasks, which is a profile picture collection that mechanically also represents I like to consider it like the background of a colonist. So similar to in most RPG games, you can select a background of what that character you're playing was doing before you started the game. And in that sense, based on what backgrounds you select, it will give you additional experience points, potentially skills and stuff like that. And that's what these will be mechanically in the game, in addition to being unique NFT profile pictures. And also tickets to enter in the raffles for Mars4 or for the NFTs as well as the legendary colonists.
There's actually, sorry to interrupt. There's actually a quite good related question on this topic. So, will we be able to use them in the game as a demo? How it looks like in the game, or as you say, we are postponing this.
Yeah, no. So this is what I was discussing before. Originally, we were thinking of them being your physical helmets in the 3D game, but that would limit what we could do with this collection in terms of making it a rare asset, because players need helmets. There needs to be an infinite, never-ending supply of helmets so that like new players can always have equipment. And also, as gamers, I'm sure you all run into a situation where you have one piece of equipment that you really like how it looks, and another piece of equipment you really like its function. And we didn't want to be limiting players in the functions that we would introduce in this first set. So what we're doing, these helmets will not represent the physical 3D ones that you set on your character. Instead, these profile pictures, these Mars masks represent the character's backstory. So they can be applied on any colonist NFT, and they will give additional experience points and to unlock skills and stuff like that. So the way I kind of think of them is, if you imagine the first colonists that arrived on Mars, as soon as they got off of a ship, like their picture was taken for their Martian ID card, and this is how they looked the day they arrived. Obviously, 5, 10, 20 years down the line, like they're in different suits, they look quite different. Their characters may have evolved, but that's the backstory of what they looked like when they first arrived. And that's not saying we won't be introducing these kinds of designs as 3D helmets for your characters in the 3D game as well. We will be. It's just the benefits of the Mars Mask collection will not restrict what helmets you can wear in the game as a player. You can always gain the experience benefits of applying a Mars mask to a colonist, irrespective of what helmet you're actually using in the game.
Good. Thanks. Thanks for the detailed explanation. So, Spyros, shall we move on to you? So,
Sure thing.
can you tell us then, the story behind, and I believe you have plenty of visuals as well to back your story up. So I'll probably switch to your screens. And so how was the evolution, of?
I mean, it all started with this, right? No, I'm joking. It really all started with this. Like, this is our first colonist that we had, the first good model of colonist we had, and you guys may have seen, like, some of the executive of Mars still have this as their profile picture, like they stuck their face in here. And I think this was one of the first ideas to just like get pictures of people and stick their face there. And I don't know much about the NFT business or how that works. Like, I don't communicate too much with marketing about these things. I was just like told that, hey, how can we do this and have every player have their own mask? And one of the very first ideas was, well, we'll just, get their game model and stick the face in. And, then the idea came, okay, so that's cool, but what else can we do, right? So we came up with basically something like this, right? So you'd have the visor, you'd still have some transparency, or you would be able to tweak the transparency of how much your visor would be visible, how much of your real face would be visible. But then, you come into the problem of like, hey, maybe people don't want to have their faces up on there, or, for some reason, anyway, the idea of real faces was kind of skipped. And this became really popular, like having, stencils, I guess, or faces on the mask itself. So we came into this kind of world then, where this is like one of our earliest tests of this. I think, Nick, was it you that made this? I don't remember. Like, he just said, put a tiger face on the Martian. So we kind of like came up
Really
with
inspired
this.
by StarCraft.
I mean, you, StarCraft, me, Destiny, and 3 million other things. But, we kind of moved from there, and, we had a bunch of concept. I mean, can I just show the ancient concept? Like, this is what we really started with, right? This is like kind of like, this is where it really all started. And, obviously, this is cool in its own way, but maybe it's too retro fantasy. It's like, it wouldn't really appeal to a 2020 audience. So then we moved on to something a bit newer. And then, you've probably seen this guy, right? And, from there, we moved on to the first iterations of the masks with stickers on them. By the way, these are all Omar's stickers. Like, he just like started making some of these. We tried to put in the NFT memes, the what do you call it? The crypto coin memes and stuff like that. We put some cats because everyone likes cats. Yeah, exactly. Someone wanted a unicorn for their kid or something. There was a story here. Nick will fill you up in this later. And, then we started sticking them on faces and stuff. And, it with everything, there's some false launches, like that one over there. I think this like false launch
literally false launch.
Right. I think this one really made it into the final, and it's like, this is without
that was
any
also
face.
Yeah, moving back to that last one, that was a test. I think it was actually Omar's idea, just to put like emote faces on, and we kind of realized that was a direction that we really liked. Like, not this implementation, as you see, it's quite different in the finals, but the idea to let people kind of have the anonymity of a spacesuit and a mask, yet at the same time be very expressive of their personalities. And we felt that this was kind of a unique balance between the two.
I mean, if you ask me, right, I always push a direction kind of like this. But not a lot of people like that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, there was also like an initial idea I had, where it was how would you express yourself if you can't take off the mask, and I wanted
Yeah,
to show that as
that
much
was a
as possible.
big problem, man.
And I think
Yes.
that also led to, I'm not sure if we actually have the example, but in some of the early demos, we were coming up with the ideas about, if you imagine that this is the suit that you're in every day for like over years and years, even if everyone arrived in the exact same suit, which is in this initial example, we were thinking that everyone arrived in the exact same suit, used the same suit, and everyone would kind of go personalizing it in their own directions. You see this person like gold plated this suit and stuff like that, put their own avatars on
This
it, put
person liked to
stickers
be
on it.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we kind of pushed that idea as far as we could. And that's when we realized that we made the whole collection, that we were ready to launch and everything. And then we realized that when you looked at 1,000 of them side by side, they're really similar. Despite having all like different colorings and stickers and like months and months of work, like giving personality and variation to them, if everyone is wearing the exact same base suit, it feels very samey.
It doesn't matter how many unicorn stickers you stick on.
So
It
Max
doesn't.
has a
It
question.
doesn't matter. Doesn't
Says
matter
that
how many
stickers would
unicorns stick.
interfere with watching, and you're right. And what we thought of, I don't know if you can see this, but this is actually like carbon fiber. This screen is actually completely non-transparent. Like there's cameras, and they project to the inside of your visor, so you can see your UI, your everything. Like if the sun is too bright or the visibility is too low, stuff like that will be tweaked in in the virtual world we're making. So you can like paint the entire face off and it wouldn't affect what you see at all.
Yeah.
Basically have a
I think
metal
that was
plate there.
actually the moment that we officially like scrapped any idea of transparency, because we realized that if you have transparent visors and people have to be able to see through the glass, then artistically you're super limited because you can't really do anything other than like tint it. Like that's it. Or mirror finish, like that's all your options you really have. But once you start to say that the visor itself is not necessary, is not transparent, well, now people can do whatever they want with it. And
But
now they
that's
can.
that's the analogy which is mentioned as well in our presentation. That's analogy of the actual mask. You can stick things on the mask, but you still keep a couple of positions, open for that. Yeah.
That is a beautiful image.
Yeah.
Great man.
It's still one of our first few concepts of what the Martian would look like.
I still love that suit. Like that base suit is still cool. And the arm is pretty freaking awesome.
The arm is coming soon.
Yes, it is. Do you actually have a?
So I have so basically what I see, the initial idea was based on the colonist helmet attribute, and that's when we've been discussing as well about the utility. Like, do we provide for the avatars the utility that you can upgrade your colonist in game? And once we moved to a little bit a different style, so some of the community members were asking about is there any utility, let's say, with this new design of avatars, and and if there will be any in the future. So Nick, can you tell me a little bit about this, and then I think Spyros can start showing a little bit more about what we have designed.
Sorry, what did you want me to discuss again?
The utility of the helmet NFT upgrade.
The core utility in the helmet and in the Mars mask is that it will give additional experience to whatever colonist NFT it's applied to. So it's similar to selecting a backstory, if you will, of a character in a role-playing game. So by applying a Mars mask to a colonist NFT, you're selecting the backstory, if you will, of like founding Martian, of one of the first Martians that arrived on Mars to work and colonize it. So in with that backstory, you're getting a bunch of additional XP because, well, you've been there from the beginning and you were trained for that role.
So, for example, if I was the cool painted face guy and I was an explorer person, I could get more XP from exploring.
We would assume that you have that more XP. So you'd be starting with an additional, your baseline XP would be higher than a colonist NFT who does not have a Mars mask applied onto it, because you have that backstory versus a normal colonist NFT without any Mars mask applied onto it is as if it just stepped off the shuttle that moment, the moment it was minted.
Yeah, great. And there was a question from Fitzpatrick. Why not have the visor be a digital screen for those to see what we want them to? Then we can use the digital stickers or a face, or is it what you're saying? So Spyros, that's probably to earlier comment.
There's an important distinction here between what we're doing in the 3D game and the art of the Mars Mask collection. In the 3D game, we will be expanding on how players can emote through their visors and what other ways players can customize their visual appearance. But what's going on in the 3D game related to that is not limited or related to necessarily the Mars Mask NFT profile picture collection. Specifically for this reason, because if we did bind the two, then we would be blocking our ability to do stuff like you're recommending, Fitz, of allowing people to emote through their visors and stuff, because, well, the visors are now the NFTs that have been purchased. So you would have to pick the cool, rare, original Mars mask or the third or fourth generation helmet that has the functionality to just emote through it. And that is never a decision we want the players to be making or to be forced to make. So for that reason, the Mars masks are not meant to replace the 3D in-game visuals. They're just an additive productivity experience bonus, if you will, on your colonists, and they are limited edition rare profile picture NFTs, which you can use on whatever platforms you would like.
And of course, there's always the problem of if you give players the ability to put whatever they want on their face, you know what's gonna go there. You just know.
We all do.
Good point. So, Nick, as you mentioned, we tried to bring more emotions and personality on those. At the same time, the challenge for the guys not to look the same-ish, as you said, sort of, when you scroll. So, Spyros, Omar, how was this challenge, and then, how this deviated into what we have at the moment?
I'm gonna let Omar do the talking for this one.
Cool. Oh, thank you. So
listen to this guy's voice, right? You want to hear him speak. Come on.
So initially, it was more, okay, how can we mess with the original one we had, but we found that wasn't working. And then it came to the point of, let's see if we can change the actual Martian. How will that change things? How much more work is that going to be? Will it show enough variation that we want to show? Will it have more of an effect than all the other work we've done for ages? And can we get more out of it? So yeah, that's what we did. We looked into different Martians, different faces, and they did look different enough. They look good. And obviously, as you can see on screen, there's a few there, but we've done a lot of different base variations and went from there, really.
I mean, if I can just show the mock-ups that we used, and these are the ones that got approved in the end. All of these have flags because we wanted to show that we have the ability to just like add that kind of personalization into them. So like we built many of these, and you'll see, you won't see these ones because these ones were, these specific ones were removed because they were used as a test, and the NFT things, you can't have these images twice, right? So, but yeah, this is the kind of thing you can expect to see in the final, like.
And there are also, we did leave in the original suit. So
Yes,
there
we
are
did.
some NFTs
Oh, yeah.
with those, however, we didn't include that in the markup. So the
No.
original suit that we showed beforehand is still there. It's just now we've added a crap ton more suits just to get a lot more variety in there for the characters. And we tried to kind of design a few different suits for each kind of style of play, each atmosphere that we imagined. So you'll see some suits that look quite weathered and rugged with like lots of mesh fabric and stuff protecting the joints from sandstorms and the elements and stuff, and then a lot other much more pristine suits.
Yeah, and you won't see the crying anymore. We removed those. Someone didn't like them. I really wanted crying Martians, man. You've been abandoned in Mars.
That's actually, yeah, that was quite interesting discussion because straight away we've been looking at what's happening around, but at the same time, we came back to our lore, and we read the very beginning that we came to Mars, leaving all the stuff behind on Earth, the stuff we're not happy about. So there's no point in crying. You have to be happy. Or you may be serious, but there's no time. There's no time for tears,
There is time for naps.
One other big thing that we did to change it was all the different environment and lighting scenarios, because initially we were hesitant to do that, but that was
initially we couldn't actually do that. And initially just the way these kind of like Bored Ape style generative NFTs are produced, in terms of like producing all the layers and then like randomizing, like creating a script to randomize and merge them and produce the final images. That doesn't fit well with different kinds of lighting effects, because, for example, just an example, like let's say you have a character which is lit by a very like orangey dawn-esque lighting, and then the flag behind them is lit by kind of a bluish dusk-esque lighting, and you happen to randomly pick those two, and then it doesn't look good at all. Because
or you're in a night scene and there's the sun on your helmet.
Yeah.
or that as well.
Which happened a lot more than you think.
Actually, guys, you touched a very interesting point. So, as typical with NFTs, they usually are different rarities. So, I know we've been discussing. Yeah, you've been mentioning some of the traits. But is there a planned sort of different rarities of Mars masks? Yes. Because just to remind for the crowd that it is unrevealed collection, and some of the things are being hidden behind those masks, and maybe that's a good point as well to touch about the rarities.
There are rarities. Just in the same philosophy as Bored Apes collection, there are rarities for every single trait. So different suits, different coloring of suits, different backgrounds, different facial expressions, different stickers, different flags. They all have rarities, and there is a very wide variety of every single trait. So they can get pretty rare. I actually noticed that one of the facial expressions that we added was so rare that it never actually even ended up in the collection. So there is a couple very rare traits in there. But yeah, well, I figured that out and I was like, oh, maybe I should have made it a little bit more common. But at that point, just generating the final collection, like after everything had been produced, like generating all the metadata and all of that for every single image took a total of like 40 hours.
Wow.
More or less, like we broke it up into like 5 different batches, and we had like different people like generating multiple batches at the same time, and then we made other scripts to merge all the metadata and stuff into one single Excel file from all the produced batches.
Meanwhile,
And,
Andrew is like, "Can you change this?" I was like, "Nope, nope, cannot."
Nope. It's literally like launch is a go. We pushed the button and we did like a call down, like, guys, I've left my lunchbox on the. Can someone go grab it? Like, nope, it is toast. That was fun, but it turned out really well. I'm really glad. Like, I'm glad that we took the time and were able to basically redo the whole collection and expand it dramatically. Because, like as I said, we finished that first collection with the single suit, and it's one of those times where you produce something and then you look at it and you're like, this just isn't good enough. It needs to be better. And having the opportunity to go back and do that is really grateful to have.
Yeah, I remember those tough times in December when we sort of we're still in doubt. Are we okay with this design, with this utilities? Yeah. So thanks. Thanks for all these ideas. You brought in.
And I have to say this, right? Nick saved our skin hard with writing that script, because we were going to save all these things manually and write everything manually.
Yeah.
And because we had very specific rarities set, and we were just like not finding a way to get those rarities until like Nick came up with this script. It's like, guys, remember that thing that would take us 20 days? It'll now take us 2. So like you say 40 hours as if it's a long time. We figured it would take us 20 days to do all that. So thank you.
The problem we have is that there was a lot of things we wanted to do artistically with this collection, like applying lighting, making sure that lighting's applied to all different elements in the same way, different color gradients, different atmospheres and stuff like that. And having like generating the final images from selecting all the different layers and producing the metadata for it in the correct format, and like being consistent with lighting and being consistent with style and all of those things, like we couldn't find any like systems out there that supported every one of those things, and like we had to it kept coming to the decision, okay, like what's the thing that we're just going to accept that we're not going to be able to do. And then finally at the end I realized that actually I figured out a way just to make a Photoshop script that do everything we wanted, but it was not well optimized, hence why it took 40 hours. Last minute Python coding. Yay.
By the way, I have a cheeky question, and you don't have to answer it, but the face that's missing from the collection, which one is it? Can we see it? Are we allowed?
It is, I don't have it here on my laptop.
Okay.
I believe it was the alien face with like the green crying hands.
Yeah.
I think it was that. If you have access to it, show it. But I think that one. I think it was that one.
I'll try and pull it up, but you guys continue the conversation because it's gonna take me a second.
But I think it was that one that was so rare that it never actually showed up in the generation.
You know what I really like about building this collection and the experience, that we try to be in quite many cases not so serious as we usually are.
What?
And
Get serious,
I mean exactly when you're looking, how to express the whole range of emotions. Yeah, simple example could be here. Just by having a different a different look, that changes a lot. So you have the whole spectrum of emotions, and
Yeah, I agree with you. It also helps, I guess for me personally, when thinking about it, being on Mars, which is something that could be quite terrifying but cool, that you have this fun still shown in the characters. Oh, ooh, what's that I see on the screen?
That's the guy. Give me a second here.
Who missed it?
Oh, I mean, it's easier to just do this, right? Here you go.
I
And
think
you can
that
sort
was
of
the
see like
face.
the chaos of layers right there, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that was so
Every
epic.
single- and that has a lot of closed folders. I see. Like there's
Yeah,
more shit in there.
there's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, shit. Never mind. But
One
yeah,
of the
that's
funny
the face.
One of the funny
And
things in the
as you
script
see,
as
like
well.
this is the old the original suit that is still in this collection. We just added like another, I don't know, 60 something suits. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
there's a lot more variety. I did still make that original suit one of the more common suits, just because like I feel like it's quite iconic to the Mars IP. So it does make sense that it would be one of the more common ones, and these other more and the rest of the suits are all a bit rarer.
Good, guys. We're moving into the next part, second half of MA, and let's not forget we still have to answer all the community questions we've got.
Okay.
Let's not break that promise. But before that, for those who found our concept interesting, and thanks for those good words above. You can join the ally list through pre-mint or superfull, or simply becoming a Mars landowner. And just visit our website, choose the slot you like, and start building your colony. Then a quick reminder about the mint schedule. So January 23rd, we have landowners, vehicle owners, so basically Mars NFT owners mint. Then January 24th, the allo list mint kicks in. And January 25th, we have a public mint on OpenSea. To straight away answer some of the questions, all NFTs will be tradable from the moment they will be minted out. So whether that's January 23rd, January 24th, and so on. Good. So guys, you hear the story. You see the utility. It's PFP. It's ticket to free colonist mint, and the only way to get the legendary colonist. All MarsMasks owners will participate in the raffle for Marsland and Caribbean GT exploration vehicles. With this project, we also brought some good partners. I'm really thankful for the Surgeons team. These guys are doing an amazing job in bringing new collabs. Magic Square, Ultra as well. Recent launch pads. Good. So let's go probably to the community questions, and there is one from Manny coming up here. I think we touched it briefly.
I like the backstory and concept for the masks. Are there any plans for in-game cosmetics? That would be a nice badge of honor for us early supporters. Yes, we will be adding in-game cosmetics. However, as I discussed earlier on, we're not binding the utility of the masks to your in-game visuals. However, at the same time, MarsMasks would be used in-game and on the MCC and everywhere as a profile picture. So you'll still have that badge of honor, everyone will still be seeing it, but when it comes to your physical 3D character, that we want people to still be able to benefit from Mars masks without it limiting what helmet they could put on their character. That's why we've kind of separated the functionality and the visuals a bit there in terms of your 3D character, but you will still use it for many things in game, and many people will be seeing those original Mars masks profile pictures throughout the game in leaderboards in the MCC. In fact, I believe in the MCC leaderboards, they'll be up almost immediately. So there's there's plenty of areas where you'll be able to show off those as a badge of honor within the community itself, and then as they will be unique profile picture NFTs, you'll also be able to use them on Twitter and Reddit and everywhere else as a verified PFP.
Click. Yes, thank you for this. Andrew might really hate me for this question. Yeah, guys, I know. Holding Karkanda key, being a user, having a special discount for Mars mask sales. No, Karkanda key is a vehicle-related NFT, and there are plans as well to develop and to release future collections of vehicles. So Karkanda key NFT will be tied up with the vehicle NFT ecosystem, and this way, and with Mars masks, Mars mask NFTs, we are more focused on bringing in the first wave of colonists, and basically, yeah, that's a question coming as well from the community, like will there be any more masks in the future? Is it limited to 999 masks that can only be bought on the peer-to-peer market? So there are some ideas. It depends, as you probably read the lore and the backstory, that this year we plan to bring in three colonist waves. And each of them, they represent people with a different skill set. So first of all, bringing this avatar collection was as well a partial demand from our community. So if we see there is a demand in the future, maybe, but they will be different, and they will be kind of separate collections in this case. Yeah,
that's an important note. If we ever do end up making another collection, it would be visually completely distinct, and so this collection will always stay visually unique in what it is, and would always be very recognizable as the first generation. Although that said, I don't think at the moment we have any plans to do another collection unless it's something that the community would request of us.
Coolio. Good. Going through the previous one. Why sales is not on OpenSea? Yeah. So the sales, as I showed previously, the landowners and the allow list sales will happen on the MCC actually. And we had to take this decision because we were not confident that we will develop in time the functionalities on OpenSea straight away to manage Mars NFT owners and as well allow lists in there. But as I mentioned, all NFTs are tradable from the moment they are minted out. Good. As I understand, the mask is a separate part of the colonist, which can be changed or even sold. No, we answered that. And it's a ticket to get a unique colonist. It's a ticket to get a legendary colonist, but there will be as well common and rare colonists introduced with the first wave. Is there any long-term value for the mask, for these masks? These are questions from community Discord coming over. And yeah, will the masks affect land production points? So I think Nick, yeah, we kind of answered this through the productivity score.
There's a few different types of value. I mean, first of all, you'll have the fact that they're they'll be giving additional XP to the colonists, so they're effectively boosting the value of any colonist NFT that they are attached to. They will also provide some productivity score, and they will also in that they are boosting the experience of the colonist. That means the colonist will be able to unlock better skills and traits, which will make him more productive, which in turn will also add more value on your land plots and more value to your Mars4 empire, as you will have a more skilled colonist. And those are the three long-term value adds in addition to the raffle ticket entries that they are. Obviously, there's also long-term value in that if you win a legendary colonist, for example, in the raffle, well, you also now have a legendary colonist, and you're one of the only people who does. So that's there's also that level of long-term value. But what before was just specifically related to the Mars masks themselves.
And Mars masks FAQ can be found here on the landing page. And if there are some questions unanswered, yeah, you can let us know. Oh, Fuzzy is coming from the back. Yeah, I see Spyros is getting ready. So when would we have animations like dancing and reactions for colonists? Now? Spyros,
yeah,
can we do
you
it
want to
now?
show it? All right.
Yeah. Can we do it now? Can we do it now?
Let me get you the dancing ones. They're somewhere around here. There you go.
Bring this dancing queen here. Yes. Yeah, so you see, yeah, Mars might be a fun place from time to time.
I mean, sometimes it's a broken place too.
Whoa. But actually, yeah, I wonder what would happen
with less gravity.
Yeah.
You could probably do it
a lot longer.
Apparently, right?
That's brilliant. So yeah. So that's a very, very, very nice teaser at the very end. So yeah, you guys will be forced to watch till the end, to see this. Brilliant. Yeah, but definitely you will see more of those coming with a colonist NFT mint, which will happen sort of around 8th or 9th of February. So before that, there will be more dancing colonists around.
Yes.
Good. Anything else to add? Yeah. So what are the chances that multiplayer game will be launched in Q4 2023?
Well, we have planned to launch. We're planning to launch private servers, so people will be able to play in limited sessions with their friends and stuff like that in Q2. And that is the first form of multiplayer, and that incredibly confident will be done before the end of the year, as we currently have it planned for within the first half. So even if that's off track by multiple magnitudes, it'll still definitely be done in 2023. Full multiplayer is on schedule. So far to date, we have met or been early on on vast majority of game development deadlines. I don't think none come to mind that we've missed, but it's possible that we've missed one. So I'm fairly confident about it. But as with everything, especially game development related, there's always elements that can produce delays, unexpected bugs, and even with Mars masks, as you saw, we completed the whole collection, and then when we look at it objectively, we're like, this is not a good enough product, to be putting out to the public. Oh, that's another thing I was showing that we're developing. With that, I am as confident as one can be with game development deadlines. But multiplayer, like the first stage of multiplayer of the private sessions with friends and stuff, that incredibly confident, because there's, as I said, that should be done in the first half of the year.
So basically, that means in Q2, you will have a capability to wear Mars mask, invite your friends, and start colonizing Mars.
That's pretty
on
cool.
a small scale. Nick, is there anything else you wanted to show? What are we developing at the moment?
I just happen to have a cool video on hand of one of the major upgrades to the game that will be coming out in the next patch. Will be in addition to a UI overhaul. You can show the video right now. We're overhauling the player UI. Let's start over. The user interfaces, and introducing colonist stats and colonist clothing and character customization and those elements. We're also going to do a full overhaul of the environment, which getting looking a lot more realistic and a lot more visually appealing.
Stay tuned for that one. It's gonna be great.
That is going to be very great. Then there's also a lot of expansions to vehicle driving. We've added in manual gearing, or automatic but with manual management of gearing, and also mass to vehicles based on their storage capacity. That's where you'll really start seeing the advantages of the Carcanda, because when you load that thing down to max weight, you still have a wide range of very, very low gear ratios to still be able to climb over stuff, whereas the Terrapin there will start struggling despite it having a far lower weight capacity. And it also makes driving in the game a bit more interesting, especially on the fuel economy side, because you can be managing your gearing and RPM to try and stay as fuel efficient as possible. In addition to that, we have more expansions to the electrical system coming in, and a
Building system on MCC.
And the building system on the NCC. However, that is probably something that we should let Junior show off, as it is his baby. But that is going to be a very cool system.
I don't know if you guys want to show what some of the land will look like, but we're working with more. Basically, we're just like, because this is like almost realistic from Mars. Like, you will find landscape where you will have some color and all these like little craters, and we're just like trying to figure out the best way to deliver something like this on the scale that is Mars, without it looking, identical every single time. There's a lot of technical stuff, but it's coming and it's going to look quite great. And it's not just this. This is like just one of the types of terrain we're working on. Right now, it's all like one terrain, right? That's not our intention. We do not intend to just leave it like, yeah, it's red. Done.
Good news. Okay, last question from my side. So, is there a chance that somebody will be able to peel off the sticker from the Mars mask and stick on their friend's face or on the vehicle in the future?
We do have decals and stuff that we do want to be adding in. We think we have most of the technical side done for sticking decals on buildings. Decals on vehicles and characters are more complicated for a very, very technical reason about how game engines deal with animated meshes. If you think about like the way a decal normally works is you have a 2D image that's projected onto a surface. So if you project a 2D image of a smiley face on a wall, looks perfectly fine. Smiley face on a wall. If you project a smiley face onto someone's chest, what happens when they move their arms like this? Like, does it stretch the face? Like, no, the face will just stay the same. So then it's really just like this weird projected, like light of a smiley face on someone's body that as they're moving around, like doesn't move with the body. Or if you want to then like bake that design into the texture, then it'll move with the body and it'll look good. But then that means every single character would have a unique texture of their character, which is like hundreds of gigabytes of more data to deal with. So how we're going to be doing with decals and stickers for vehicles and characters, that's a bit more complicated, but then for buildings is already well in development.
I give up. That was very detailed. You just ask, can you stick the sticker? And good.
It's one of those like rabbit
It's
holes.
no. The answer is no. Not right now.
Not
right now.
Yeah. I understood. Not right now. Okay. Good.
Well, yes to buildings, no to characters and vehicles.
Rohit asked question Andrew, when marketing will go boost. We can discuss about the boost, but yeah, it started with really nice collabs about this on the Discord, and on other channels. So yeah, as I mentioned, thanks to our partners. So yeah, we're creating some buzz in there, and I think in the nearest future you will see a lot more updates. Fuzzy is concerned about our health. Out of the topic question, do you guys enough rest? I hope you do.
Yeah. It's
sort of.
I do.
We will rest when we've delivered a good game to you guys. Let's put it that way. We're very excited to be working on this project, and that's not an exaggeration. Like I see that Fizz there is saying like, would you like what we're doing? Yeah, we love what we're doing, man. We really do. And I mean, I say this all the time, but Nick is carrying us hard with his ideas. Like sometimes Art will be like, you know, we'll be no. It is. We are a good team, but I mean, like, you know, we artists will go like, oh, damn, that can't be done, or we'll create a problem for ourselves, and then Nick is like, okay, so how about we just simplify it, and then, you know, we do this and it works, and we're just kind of sitting there going, cool, all right, we've got our stuff sorted out for us, and then things move along.
But I think on the topic of rest, at least in my case, and hopefully on everyone's, we got a nice rest over the holidays. That was very nice to have a bit of time off, get a breather. I'm excited for starting off this year with a bang.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, a great start of the year. Good. Guys, Fitz, I think that the feature you are calling about recalling Kirkanda is coming. And Jugas is back from his holidays next week. So I seen there are some talks about this in the development chat. So definitely they will be looking into this. Good. So thanks a lot. Thanks, Spyros. Thanks, Omar.
Thank
As
you.
always, Nick.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone who joined us. And
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you in the next AMA. And on Discord constantly.
Yes, and I believe there will be more updates about MarsMasks happening next week. So I'm sure we'll plug in for a short AMA next week as well.
Yeah.
Good. See you soon.
Buy the mask.
Do it.
Get the mask. No, get on the allow list first, and then maybe
do that.
we'll get it. Yeah, cool.
Decent.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks.
Bye. Good evening.
Bye.
Bye.